How passwords actually work. Explained simply, passwords feel simple. You type something, you get access. But what actually happens between those two moments is far more interesting than most people realize. Because your password is almost never stored the way you imagine. And if it were, the internet would not work at all. To understand this properly, it helps to forget computers for a moment and think in very human terms. Imagine you walk into a building every day. The guard at the door doesn't remember your face, doesn't know your name, and isn't allowed to write anything down. So instead, every morning, you whisper a secret phrase. The guard checks something privately and either lets you in or doesn't. That is roughly how passwords work online, but with one very important difference. The website never wants to know your password. That sounds strange, but it's true. When you create an account somewhere, the site does not save your password in a readable form. Not normally, and not if it's built properly. Instead, it saves something called a hash. A hash is the result of running your password through a special kind of mathematical machine. This machine always produces the same output for the same input, but it works only one way. You can put a password in, but you can't get the password back out. It's like cracking an egg. You can crack the egg, but you cannot uncrack it. The broken egg is the hash. So when you sign up and type your password, the website immediately turns it into a hash. Then it throws your original password away. What gets stored in the database is only that scrambled result. Later, when you log in again, the site does the same thing. It takes what you type, turns it into a hash, and compares it to the stored one. If they match, you're in. If they don't, you're not. At no point does the site need to remember your actual password. This is why, when you forget your password, most sites don't send it back to you. They can't. They never had it. They can only let you create a new one. This also explains something else people often misunderstand. When a website gets hacked, hackers usually don't steal your password. They steal the hashes. And hashes are useless by themselves, unless you can guess what created them. That's where password cracking comes in. Attackers take huge lists of common passwords. They hash each one and see if any of those hashes match the stolen ones. This is why simple passwords fail so quickly. 123,456 isn't insecure because it's short. It's insecure because it's predictable. The computer doesn't care if your password is emotional, meaningful, or clever. It only cares how many possible guesses exist. A longer password creates more possible combinations. Each extra character multiplies the difficulty. This is why correct horse battery staple is stronger than P at SSW0RD. Even though it looks simpler, length beats complexity almost every time. But modern systems go even further. They don't just hash your password once. They hash it thousands of times, or tens of thousands. This process is called key stretching. The idea is simple. Logging in should feel instant for you, but painfully slow for an attacker trying billions of guesses. A fraction of a second doesn't matter to a human, but it makes mass guessing impractical. There's also something called a salt. A salt is random data added to your password before hashing. This ensures that even if two people choose the same password, their hashes look completely different. Without salts, attackers could pre-compute massive tables of hashes and break accounts at scale. With salts, every password becomes unique. So when people say my password was leaked, what usually happened is this. A database was stolen. It contained salted, stretched hashes, and attackers tried guessing until something matched. If your password was weak, it fell quickly. If it was long and uncommon, it likely survived. Now here's where it gets more interesting. Because passwords don't actually identify you. They only prove that you know something. That's it. Anyone who knows your password becomes you. The system cannot tell the difference. This is why passwords alone are fragile, and why two-factor authentication exists. When you add a second factor, you're adding another type of proof. Something you have, or something you are. A phone, a fingerprint, a hardware key. Now, even if someone guesses your password, they still can't get in. Not because the password changed, but because identity became layered. This also explains why password reuse is so dangerous. If you reuse the same password across multiple sites, you are tying your identity together in places that don't know each other. One breach becomes many. From the system's perspective, this isn't a security flaw. It's a human one. The computer did exactly what it was designed to do. Which brings us to a quiet truth about passwords. They were never meant to scale this far. Passwords worked well when you had one computer, one login, one system. They struggle when you have hundreds of accounts, each demanding something unique and secure. That's why password managers exist. They don't make passwords smarter. They make humans less involved. And that's often the safest approach. A password manager creates long, random strings you never need to remember. It stores them securely and only releases them when needed. From the system's point of view, nothing changes. It still checks hashes. From your point of view, the burden disappears. This is also why biometrics don't replace passwords entirely. Your fingerprint isn't secret. You leave it everywhere. So biometrics are usually used to unlock something that already stores a secret, not as the secret itself. Your phone doesn't log into services with your fingerprint. It uses your fingerprint to unlock stored credentials. Which brings us full circle. Passwords are not about trust. They're about verification. They don't say who you are. They only say you know the right thing. And everything built around them is designed to minimize the damage when, inevitably, that knowledge leaks. So the next time you type a password, remember this. The website doesn't want it. It doesn't keep it. And it can't protect you from reusing it elsewhere. All it can do is check whether the math lines up. That's it. Thanks for listening. Did you already know this is how it works? Or did something surprise you? And if there's something else you've always wondered how it works, leave it in the comments. Till next time.